Hey everyone, it's me, Tony, yet again. Figured let's have a little chat today because I've been watching the news. Have you? It's not pretty, folks. It's not pretty at all. The Hunter Biden laptop scandal is true. We knew this years ago, and it was hidden from the certain media outlets who are now being investigated. Some videos and pictures are now coming out on the laptop, including a video which was basically put in the stills by the New York Post of Hunter Biden and Lady Gaga smoking crack cocaine. I thought the wealthy don't smoke crack. I thought that was the drug of the poor people. So in the video still where New York Post took a screenshot of, it's Hunter Biden with his usual pose in front of the camera, and Lady Gaga kind of over his shoulder, buck naked, body of a 12-year-old boy, and you can see the glass pipe in her hand. She's like this, lighting it up. These people are both fairly wealthy. Hunter Biden, not as much, but he has daddy's money and Ukraine money, whatever. But Lady Gaga smoking crack. Is that her poker face? I don't know. I feel like some days I'm going nuts when I watch the news. From the same hard drive, which the FBI lost, admitted to in Congress, and then a congressman pulled out another hard drive and said, actually, we have this hard drive also. And the FBI was like, shit. And a congressman said, this will now be put as evidence into... shit. Anyway, it's now evidence in the U.S. government's hands. So it's now official. In one of the videos that New York Times took a screenshot from, is Hunter Biden having sex with a very young daughter of Obama. And in the screenshot, you can see some cocaine on a table, like 4 lines of coke. I don't know if that's allowed or not. Drugs really aren't my thing, minus the government-supplied marijuana. But anyway, and there's a credit card next to it. If you blow up the still, I think it says Mila Obama. I don't know if that's her name or not. It looks like Mila. I'm sorry, the picture's not that clear. I mean, it's blown up from a still image from a video. So someone who's a little more tech savvy than I could probably do a whole lot more with it. And that was on the New York Post, on their website. Hunter Biden's a bit of a scumbag. When I say that, I mean a bit of a scumbag. He's pretty fucking scummy. There's pictures of him laying naked with appears to be with his 14-year-old niece. He's also had sex with his dead brother's wife, which would be the niece's mother. You know, when I read the news, I get a brain injury, so sometimes I have to read things twice just to get the clarity of it all. But when you're watching a video of something, you're like, isn't she like legal or barely legal, or his dad's co-worker's daughter? And why is there so much cocaine always around? Like, I don't know how much cocaine is actually in Canada or the United States. Probably a fair amount. But why does Hunter Biden seem to have it all? You know, a little bit weird to me. You ever watch the news from places, say, like Tampa? Right now, there's a bit of a issue with Disney. With Disney, it seems like a lot of employees really like children. Really like children. So I just got done watching the, it's called 10tampanews.com. Yeah. It's a news station in Tampa. And the local sheriff gave a news brief earlier, where basically they set up a sting. They'd be online pretending to be a 13-year-old girl in the local area. And, they'd see who replies to the messages. They caught 4 Disney employees, 1 judge who just retired, 3 restaurant managers, and 1 dude who was They told him he's going to get paid $1,000 to come have sex with this underage girl. So he left his wife at home, brought his mistress, and because the police earlier had to tase a person who attempted to run away, who they were enticing in using the 13-year-old girl as bait, they tried to stop the deal between the 13-year-old girl and this guy who was coming to have sex with her with his mistress, who was about half his age. So they sent this guy a message and said, listen, we have to do this tomorrow night. The cops are out front. There's fire trucks, ambulance. It's just not a good time. The guy said, no, I'm coming. You owe me $100 for the ball of meth. I didn't know meth came in a ball, but obviously it does. You owe me $500 for my time. And he said, you better have some guns and some friends with guns because I'm coming for you. Oh, and you better have a helicopter. The 13-year-old with a helicopter. Maybe that's a thing in Tampa. I don't know. So this dude shows up to where the undercover sting is going on. Gets out of the car, comes running to the door. Now, inside this door is a bunch of police officers pretending to be a 13-year-old girl. And they're trying to arrest basically creepy fucking pedophiles. But this dude gets out of the car, gun in the air like this, and comes running to the door. And the cops see him because they have cameras around this house, right? Just, be smart. I get cameras around my house. Try to be smart about it. And the cops open the door, and there's 4 cops with guns drawn on this guy. And this guy has a gun over his head like this, and he starts putting it down. And the guy's crackhead girlfriend leaps in front of him. And the sheriff himself said, within milliseconds, we are going to light this guy up. The old room temperature challenge. The challenge you never want to win. Well, we all do. We're going to win sometime, but not in that way. One sec, please. So, quick recap. Guy comes to a 13-year-old's house to have sex with her. Believes he's going to get paid. The deal goes down and it falls flat. Guy still comes to the house demanding now $600 total and brings a fucking gun. Now just remember, there's a bunch of cops in the house waiting for this guy. And his crackhead girlfriend saves him. You can't make this shit up. So I've been watching a lot of that Tampa news lately. And holy fuck, they caught a judge trying to have sex with an underage girl. He's from Illinois. He just retired. Was looking to bag 13-year-old girls. We also caught a human trafficker, a young lady who manages a KFC, the Dirty Bird, and has 61 convictions. 41 of those were felony convictions in the United States, and the other 20 were misdemeanors. What the fuck is wrong with people? Sex with children? Is it that common? And this lady was basically pimping this young girl out. And she basically brought this young girl to this house to have sex with a gentleman, which turned out to be a bunch of cops. And the young girl was going to get paid $20 out of the $300 her pimp was going to make. I don't like child sexual predators. I think they are the lowest of the low. I worked with a guy who did 27 years in Kingston Penn many years ago. Beat a cop to death in the 60s. At 27 years, found Jesus, got out. I worked with him. And I asked him about the hierarchy of federal penitentiaries. And he's like, child fuckers, pardon the language, at the bottom of the totem pole. He's like, even in solitary, we can get to them. I don't wish ill will upon anybody, but anybody who messes with children should be fed the lions feet first and bacon wrapped. I have a strong dislike for people who like to diddle children. I worked with a guy in the military. He was charged and found not guilty of having sex with his 14-year-old stepdaughter, but a few years later was found guilty of sexually assaulting 3 women at work. And the military knew about this, and they turned a blind eye. I digress. Tomorrow, Canada's new budget comes out. It's going to be a tax budget because we're $9 trillion in debt. Do you know how many zeros that is? Look at a pen. Let's try to wrap our heads around $9 trillion. So Bear with me a second. I'm going to write this out. That's $9 trillion. That's 12 zeros. That's what Canada owes. That's what you and I are in debt because our government has spent us into poverty. And I was like, oh, it's good. Just extra taxes, right? See, I don't have children. But if you have children, say your children are 10 years old. And I got this information from a pretty good source. Your children are 12 years old, say 10 years old. This debt will not be paid for until your children are about 70 years old. That's if the government doesn't spend another nickel. $9 trillion. It's a lot of money. That is a great deal of money. The GDP, the gross domestic product of Canada, is about $1.1 to $1.5 trillion. In less than 2 years, we are now, make sure I get this correct because I don't want to mislead people. 900% more in debt than our GDP. Don't quote me on that. My memory is not so great, then sometimes calculating numbers isn't so great for me, but that's a lot of debt. I don't know how much debt you have personally. I have none. That's supposed to be paid for in July, and I have the money in the bank, so to me, it's not considered debt. But $9 trillion, it's a lot of fucking money. How many doubles is that? I'm drinking some coffee now. How many coffees is that? $9 trillion. But don't worry. Trudeau and his good friend Singh said things are going to get better for the average working family. Now, the average working family I know is fucking struggling. I've paid my neighbor's power bill. I have bought people meals. I've bought people groceries. The average person in Canada isn't doing so well. The food bank down the road from my home, you can drive by on Thursday nights and Friday mornings, and there's a fucking lineup of people. When I first moved to this area in 2017, it was not like that. They're now starting to talk about the social cost of these lockdowns in Canada and North America, about the rampant suicide rate. And I'll be honest, I've lost a lot of friends to suicide, and it's never easy to deal with. 3 children in my neighborhood have all killed themselves. But to keep talking about case numbers. Fuck the cases. Are you sick? Are you in the hospital? Then stay home, get some rest. Not that I'm drinking what I'm talking about right now, but some hot lemon, some honey, and a little shot of rum. Top it up with hot water. It's called a hot rum toddy. Don't forget the rum. And tuck yourself in the bed. Get some vitamin D. Get the fuck outside. It's a beautiful evening here. Get outside. People hiding in their homes, and this whole pandemic, this is going to get me banned from YouTube probably, but it's a crisis of the diabetic, because a lot of diabetic folks are dying of this because of their health complications, and the elderly. And the elderly die. I worked at a nursing home. They do, and they tend to go in groups. I'm not a smart person. I'm not. But I notice things. I notice that, hey, by the way, remember Stephen? Yeah, killed his girlfriend. Remember John? Yeah, offed himself. Remember the little girl down the road? Yeah, put a bag over her head. This is happening. I don't know anybody who's died of COVID. I got COVID tested. So I am unvaccinated and damn proud of it. I served so many years in the military. I have so many vaccinations. It's ridiculous. My vaccine book is fucking full. But I didn't get the COVID vaccine. Because anytime they're pushing something that quickly on the people, you got to start wondering about that. I've always been a bit of a skeptic. I don't trust doctors. I have had some really shitty doctors over the years, and I've had some really good ones. But that's besides the point. So I waited. Now, my girlfriend is triple vaxxed. She's got the 2 vaccines and a booster. She let that slip on the way to the airport a few days ago. I had to drop her off at the airport. She let slip that she got the booster too. And I'm like, oh, that's good. She's always sick. You know, she works from home. She does IT for a living. Always sick. I'm always trying to tell her, get the fuck out of the house. Go get some fresh air. We have 2 dogs. Take the dogs for a walk. I had them out all day long today, walking all over this damn town. Get outside. Get some sunshine. Get some fresh air. But no. Oh, no. Can't do that. Other things to do, like sit in front of the TV and press the button or surf on the phone. What do they call these? Black Mirror. This is my little tablet. It's filthy, obviously, but Black Mirrors. You watch that British TV show? I think it was on Netflix. Black Mirror. You should watch it. You know, I've come to realize that we're not all crazy. And I know a lot of people are, and mental health issue, by the way, has been in huge demand lately because a lot of people are looking for some help. And I get it. I do. You're not crazy. What you're seeing is real. That's what we're looking for here. But not normal. Now, they're trying to tell you it is, and it's not. People walk around with, what the fuck is it? This is what the army gave me. Okay? This is what the army gave me. Let me see if I can find my original mask that the army gave me. Bear with me a second. This is originally what the army gave me as a mask. It's got some fucking shit in it. And listen, I appreciate the guys who made them. A buddy of mine actually made them on base because he was ordered to, so he did. Yeah, so this was the mask the army gave me. You ever tried to breathe through a towel? It's the same material it's made of, basically, it's terry cloth. Can you imagine this wet? Yeah. Not really that great. You know, is this a face covering? I mean, it covers a face, right? No, it's oh, there it is. This is the mask I ended up going with. And I only wore it at work because I was forced to. Now, some little prick ratted me out one day, seen me at the grocery store, and reported me to my chain of command. And told them that Tony's not wearing a fucking mask. Oh my God, the horror! The horror. Not wearing a mask. I'm one of those weird guys. I like fresh air. I'm weird. I know what you're thinking. Tony, but it's just a mask. I have a gas mask downstairs. That gets rid of a lot of stuff. This? No, it doesn't. But hey, I'm no fucking doctor, nor to pretend to be. But hey, there's smarter people out there than I am. One sec, please. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I'm drinking a coffee. It's one of those days. It really is. Watch the news, get a little fired up. So Justin Trudeau and Singh want $10 a day daycare. Now, I don't have kids, and I don't mind paying taxes for schools and things of that nature. A friend of mine, his wife used to run a private daycare. And she said all these private daycares will go out of business because they will not serve children for $10 a day. They can't afford to pay their staff, their rents, their mortgages, not for $10 a day. It makes no sense. So the government is going to open their own, what do you call it, daycare centers, we can call it, and charge $10 a day. So the taxpayer has to subsidize this. I don't know about you, but I made $77,000 last year and brought home $35,000. Then I bought gas and groceries, and I probably brought home about $10,000. I don't mind paying my fair share, but Justin Trudeau and every other member of Parliament on the 1st got a $21,000 pay raise. Have you seen your $21,000 pay raise? I'm just curious. Is anyone else getting this? I'm not. I'm on a pension now. I've been living off my savings since January. I finally got my first pension check from the military because I have a brain injury. And I did my fucking time. My pension, my army pension, after 23 and a half years, after taxes, is $1,800 a month. Thank fuck I don't have any large debts, car payments, how's the average person? Like, the myth and rumor is that the military has giant pensions. Giant! Oh, you're getting six figures. No, you're not. You're not. Anybody who thinks that, you're being lied to. Look it up. Have a look. I can actually show you somewhere here at the paperwork. Yeah, somewhere around here I have the paperwork. Let's have a look. That's the wrong one. Somewhere around here I have the paperwork for my Army pension, which turns out to be $6,000 a year. Holy fuck, Steve. How do you do it? How do you do that, Steve? That's fucking brutal. That's unacceptable. You know, instead of Trudeau getting a $21,000 pay increase, why didn't every member of parliament donate that money to folks like yourself who are just squeaking on by? And I guarantee you're probably just squeaking. I get it. I've been poor. I walked out of prison in 2000 with $4 to my fucking name. It's just by luck, and mostly luck, I am where I am today. And I am shockingly grateful for this. Because I fell on hard times in the past, and it's not nice. It's not fun. But $6,000 a year, Steve, that's man, I don't know how you do it. I don't know, but I wish you the best, Steve. I truly do. Boomhauer. I'm not sure who you are, but you probably know who I am. Did you serve in the military, Boomhauer? I don't know. I'm terrible with people and names. Faces I'm good with. A buddy of mine dropped by last night. Him and his girlfriend were just want to shoot the shit. And he told me his wife. He told me his wife's name once. Pretty girl. I cannot remember her name for the life of me. She's pet my dog and stuff, and I was going to ask her something, and I was like, forgot your name. And I felt like an asshole. So we worked together. Did you and I work together, Boomhauer? Trying to think who you may be. Pisani? Is that Pisani? TJ? I don't know. You tell me. Is it Brian? Could it be Brian? A bit of a Boomhauer. Likes things that go boom. Anyway. Did in Greenwood. Well. I'm not sure who you are, Boomhauer. I'm not sure. Greenwood's a pretty fucked up place, though, I can tell you that. Let me tell you a story about military service. This isn't my story. I had a friend of mine drop by. When did she drop by? 2 days ago, a friend of mine dropped by who served for a very long time in the military. She got posted to Greenwood, and then she had to go to Romania. And when she was in Romania, she was I'm not going to tell you what position she was working in because I don't want to identify her because she's still serving and not quite out yet. She was a supervisor for a group of people. Now, Romania was basically a NATO air tasking thing. So airplanes flying around, lots of pilots running about. She had 4 young ladies working for her, privates and corporals. And every day they'd show up late for their taskings and jobs that they had to do. It turned out they were fucking the pilots. The pilots were sharing these young women. Literally, the 4 were just doing circles of the pilots. I don't know if they're getting paid, because I've heard about that before in the military. That's a story for another time. The Love Boat. The Navy, right? Yeah, 91 Gulf War. I can tell you some fucking stories about that. A friend of mine made enough money to retire. Sold her soul, but hey, who needs those, right? So my friend is in Romania, and her 4 techs, yeah, we'll use that word, techs, are so exhausted after being railed all night by pilots, they can't do their job. So she went up through her chain of command, and it got to her MWO, Master Warrant Officer. And she's like, sir, this has got to fucking end. The pilots have to stay away from my troops. And he was like, well, they're adults. They're allowed to do what they want to do. And she looked at her MWO. Now, her MWO was not from Greenwood. He was from a different military base. And she said, are you fucking them too? And he got all fucking weirded out and basically ran away. And that answered the question. She's now leaving the military. It's not what it used to be. I get it. I do. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I've seen that. I know some pretty fucking corrupt individuals. All of them are either government or military or police. I knew a police officer in Ottawa, good friend of mine actually. A lot of people are jumping ship, Boomhauer. So the military fired 4,000 troops for not being vaccinated. A friend of mine, who they fired, got a 5F release, just asked them to come back. Just come back. Just come back. And they said, might be able to slip you a couple extra bucks for your, cooperation. You know what he said? Get fucked. Get fucked, you. His wife makes enough money, he doesn't have to work, and he's now retired. He got a 5F release, which is the least honorable release you can get. And he doesn't give a fuck because he refused to take the vaccine. I also heard there's 10,000 troops with VRs in currently. My friend, who was over here 2 days ago, the young lady, said every time she goes to a different building on base in Base Greenwood, the first question he asks is not even COVID questions. Is your nose running? Are you tired? Are you tired in the morning? It's, are you leaving? Are you getting out? Because they can't keep anybody. The military has gone fucking crazy. And now they have a woke, we do something called a PER. Basically, it's a personal evaluation. You get done once a year or 4 times a year. Memory is not my strong point. My boss sent me an email saying PERs. There's now a section in the PERs. I should really end this, come back, because if we're going to the military topics, we should stay in the military topics. But I'll finish the story real quick. There's now a section in the PERs where it's inclusivity. I actually pronounced that right. Inclusivity. Are you, as a soldier, inclusive enough? How do you measure that? How do you? I want to know, because I've asked some people that I know who have some rank behind them, and they look at me like I'm a fucking crazy person. Like, well, I haven't heard anything about this. Well, it's been on Rebel News, CTV News, and some online news agencies. There's actually an email and basically what's called a pro forma, basically fill this in sort of thing. Fill in the blanks. That's basically what a pro forma is. So that's real. It's under the new PACE system, PACE. That's actually the system I had to do my last PERs on for my troops. I had 2 mat techs working for me. That's fucked up. That's how inclusive are you? Did you suck a dick last week? Is that the question? Because is that what they're implying? I want to know this because no one seems to be able to give me an answer. Are they trying? And this also goes towards promotion, by the way, which is important to a lot of people. Not this guy because I'm out, but for a lot of people still serving, it's important. Promotions are important. Are you going to go in your boss's office one day and have your PER interview, and he's going to be like, "Suck a dick? Have you sucked a dick lately? No, you're not inclusive enough. Would you like to suck my dick? Oh, sorry, that's fraternization. But fraternization is actually quite allowed in the CF. It shouldn't be, but it is. There's a lot of guys fucking their underlings. I had a supply tech openly proposition me one day. Now, I dealt with her to return some items. And she was very casual about it at first. And then she's like, hey, can I get your number? And I'm like, why? She's like, well, in case I got to ask any questions, it's easier if I can just text you. I'm like, okay. So I gave her my number. And then one night I get this text like, hey, can you come over here? And I'm like, are you okay? She's like, I'm okay, but I just need you over here for a minute. I was like, now her husband lives behind me with her son. She lives somewhere else. So I was kind of weary about this. I was like, okay, I'll be over just for a minute though. And I figured she was having some sort of episode. I did this program when I was serving in the Canadian Forces called Sentinel. Basically, people will come to you if they have issues, and you can kind of point them in the right direction. You're basically like not a shmee, but I didn't even have to think about it. Anyway, I did this program with Sentinel. So I figured I was a Sentinel. She knew I probably was. Maybe she's having problems. She needs to be pointed in the right direction. Get to the right person. So I go to her place, and she wasn't wearing a whole lot. And I was like, it's kind of weird. She said, "You want to come in for a drink?" And I said, no. And I left. And then she sent me 3 nudes, one after another. And she asked me if she looks nice. And I had to stop talking to her. She's still the supply technician I dealt with fairly often. So it was awkward. I was just a master corporal. I was nothing in the grand scheme of things. But the fact that she would, I don't know, openly proposition me, what would you call that? I don't even know. Said, not the smartest guy. I'm kind of observant. I kind of see things. Not the smartest guy. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to shut this down. I'll come back. We'll do a military one, and we'll talk about military service because I have some crazy fucking stories, and I have the pictures and video to prove it. Anyway, you folks have a great night. Give me like 10 minutes, and I'll be back. You guys have a good night.